I'm always adjusting my camera.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
So sorry we're starting late today. These things happen on occasion, but we're still here.
Like I said yesterday, my husband went back to work yesterday. So my
Yes.
children are driving me crazy. So he gets off at 5. So it just worked out better because he gets home about 5:20, 5:25. So here we are.
Yes. So we may have to change the streaming time for a bit
Yeah, right.
till we get it all figured out, but we're here. That's all that matters. Hopefully everybody's having a halfway decent day.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think the weather's too bad across the United States right now, or the world in general for that matter.
Nice in my neck of the woods today.
Yeah, it's cold here, but I mean, the sun was shining on and off. So, at
Yeah.
least you get that. You get some vitamin D in you.
Yep. All right. And of course, B is here. Hi, B.
Maybe.
All right. So today we will be talking about season 2, episode 6, entitled The Origins of Monstrosity.
Monstrosity. Whoa.
Nice word.
Yeah.
There's a
It
lot.
definitely fits. It fits the episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we get many origin stories
Oh, yeah.
in this episode, in this one little episode.
This is
There's
all
a lot. There's a lot crammed in.
Mm-hmm. Because it opens in present day, which at this time was 2012.
Yeah.
This came out. And it opens with a 911 call where someone wants the cops to come out to Briarcliff, but he doesn't give his name.
Right. But knowing what we know now, you recognize the voice right away.
Well, yeah.
Because as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, look, it's Junior. And then I was like, oh, wait, we're not supposed to know that yet.
We're not supposed to know that yet. It's like, because when we first watched, we were like, oh.
Right.
And then, because with this whole situation, they went to the opening credits almost immediately after this.
Yeah, it was really fast for this episode that they went to the opening credits.
They didn't mess around. There was no pussyfooting around it at all.
Yeah, it was kind of like, here, we're showing you the credits now because it's a wild ride from here, is what it was.
Like, buckle in because here we go. Because of course the cops get there and they're looking around and you see the three bodies hanging from the ceiling. It's like,
right.
And my question is this: when did you have time to do that?
No shit, because they were very strategically placed. And where did you get the ladder to do that? Like, how did this work? Like, what was the situation? Like, are you just a very determined person? I mean,
Yeah, because I was wondering that question. It's like, boy, you must have had time on your hands.
I remember the first time I watched it, as soon as I saw him up there without knowing the story, I was like, how the heck did those guys get up there? And not like how as in who did it, but how as in how is that possible? Because you see the big staircase, you know where you're at because we've already been introduced to it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, wow, like it's just this enormous opening. So
because in present day in 2012, you look at the big staircase and the foyer and all that stuff, and it's a total mess. I mean,
yeah,
cliff is just
the plastics all hanging down from the balconies and the rafters and everything.
Mm-hmm. And you're just like, how on earth did you get up? How did you do that? How did you find a ladder wide enough to do that?
Well, and the space is so wide in the opening that it's like, even if he was up there and did it, like how? Because they're like perfectly symmetrically hanging. Like it was positioned, like we said, very, purposefully, like he was making a point literally between the three guys. It was a triangle.
Yep. Hey, Deb. Deb is joining us on the computer today, so she's using.
Oh, hey, Deb.
But she's
What is
here.
Sajort. How do I say it? Sajort.
No idea.
SJ Yort.
But she's here.
Anyway, hi Debbie.
We love you. Okay. Yeah, so and then we this is one of my favorite episodes because of the fact that because we get introduced to little Jenny.
Okay, wait a minute. But first let's go back because BRT said I think the body strung up was just showing us how good he was at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're right, but also I don't know because this is Johnny Morgan present day, right? But when we see Johnny Morgan present day, because even going after Lana and everything else, we see him when he, eventually attacks the lady who has the book and everything. Like he's still, and the lady, the breast milk lady, like he's still kind of a bumbling, blah, 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 blah. Like and then he talks about that, like he wants to be like his dad. He wants to be his dad. But so I don't think he's that good yet. No. I just think he got lucky. If we're gonna play, on the fact that obviously it's a TV show and everything else, and we're acting as if this character did that, I think he just got lucky, or how he did it, or maybe he did plan it out. But I don't think he was good enough to just be like, I'm gonna just do this, because like I said, like he would have had to have planned it out. But I still want to know why he went to Briarcliff and found the imposters, or how did he happen to be there? I don't know. It doesn't matter, I guess, at this point. Way more backstory than we need for that.
A little bit of the backstory on that later on in the season.
Yeah, but they don't fully explain it. But regardless, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was a bumbling kind of a baby in a way. Like he was a big crybaby. And don't get me wrong, Thredson was in a way too, which we find out in this episode, kind of. But and they have the same mommy issues, obviously. Yeah. But I don't know. It just seemed like he wanted to live up to his dad, and he never could. And that's something he talks about, how he wants to be like his father and finish his dad's work. And yes.
Yeah. I totally didn't realize that, but yeah, you're right.
You're totally right. Yeah, the guy up in the corner in the gym. You're totally right. 84, baby. 84.
I want one of those hats, but I don't know if I can find.
We'll have to find you one.
Because I actually love the new season a lot.
I do too. Oh God, I loved it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right. So now we get back to, like you said, we're introduced to little Jenny. So well, no, we're not introduced to little Jenny. We're introduced to little Jenny's mom.
We hear the story because she's in the office with Sister Jude at this point, and she's like, I just don't know what to do. She's not like a regular child, and she doesn't, did I ever tell you she never cried, not even as a baby? It's like she's an adult, and I just don't understand her, and trying to figure out all this other stuff. And you get to hear Sister Jude saying that the one thing she always wanted was a children's ward, but at this particular juncture, they just don't have one.
Right.
And all Jenny's mother wants is for her to, well, she's downstairs with a coloring book. If you could just meet her and explain to me, where does this evil come from? I don't understand it. I have two regular children that don't act this way.
Right.
And all that other stuff. And so that's how we get introduced to her. You see, they show pictures of Jenny down there. She's got no like expression on her face at all. It's like she shows no empathy towards anything.
No emotion whatsoever for anything. Throughout, even when she talks to Jude, when she talks to Eunice, nothing. It's straight monotone.
Yeah, because she had told the story about when she was I think
she went out to the woods
a couple of weeks before this, where she had a friend, Josie. They were going out into the woods looking for leaves.
And to make a wreath.
Josie was the only one that would play with her.
Right, because nobody else would play with her because she's a weird little freak.
That's an understatement. And then we get the first story of the tall man with the jacket.
The first. I love how you said that. The first. Yeah.
Story, yeah. Where
a tall man with a jacket and he had a beard, right?
He had a beard. He was tall. He had a beard. He wore a jacket.
Yeah. Was he black? Was he white?
Basically, she's just like he was tall. He had a beard.
He was a person. That's all we know. It was a man and it was a person.
He was tall. He had a beard. He wore a brown jacket, and he told me to stay still or he would kill me. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That, and it's just the way she
told me if I moved, he'd kill me.
Yeah.
And then if he told me I moved, or what did she say? Wait. If he told me if I moved, he'd kill me.
Yeah.
And as she's standing over her friend's dead body with a pair of scissors in it.
No.
Why would some psycho just kill your friend and stab her with scissors?
And then leave you alive. Yeah.
And then the mom tells Jude why she's there, what she found in her pocket.
Oh, I know, because basically she's doing her mother's doing the laundry like a couple days later, and then she finds the hair in her pocket.
Yeah. Oh my God, Debbie, you're so right. Jenny, I have said that from ever. Like, if I have to pick like someone that I need more information on, it's little Jenny. Totally. It's totally that character. Like, if I could only pick one character to get more information on, it's little Jenny. And I want them to I don't care. They've already started the connections. I don't care if people who hate it. They've already started. We might as well roll with it. They have to connect little Jenny somewhere before this series is over. They have to. They have to. I loved the whole theory about her being Mead. I think Debbie was the one who was first rotating that one.
That was your theory, wasn't it, Deb?
That just, oh my God, that was an amazing freaking theory. But yeah, I love the idea of little Jenny being Miss Mead.
And I still want answers to that.
Yeah.
So basically, after that scene, we get to see Lana, and she's waking up from a nap.
Let's see.
Did I skip a part?
Oh, no. It was a tall man with a beard and a brown jacket.
Yep.
As the BRT said, Ryan could do a whole season about her. Fingers crossed. Debbie said, yes.
I would be all ready for that one. It's like,
that would be a great spinoff right there.
Woohoo!
You know what I mean? That would be a great spinoff.
Yep.
If he has to do the witches, somehow tie the witches into little Jenny, because the witches come for Mead. We can still do that somewhere, I guess.
And then it would give Mead a better story, because they didn't know what to do with Kathy Bates in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
She was totally wasted, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even the character of Mead, I think, could have been done so much better. And it wasn't, by no means was it Kathy's fault. I just think it was the way the character was written.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it was still a great character, and the story could not have. You could not have had the story without her. I mean, you could have, but it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
But do I think they could have done her a little more justice? Oh, by all means.
I think her character,
like everybody said, this was the fan service season. So they brought all the favorites, all the big hitters back.
Yeah.
You know, for everybody, and they had to give them a part. Jessica was easy because they knew they were going to do the Murder House crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Angela was easy because they had the Coven. They just had to find a way to bring her back.
Yeah,
which they did really wonderfully. I love the story of how they brought her back. They tied that nice.
Yeah, when we get to Apocalypse, we're still going to talk about that. But yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's just.
I think that Mead was a wasted character for her, because they could have done it so much better than they did.
Yeah, definitely could have done a little more justice to Mead.
And if they if they do connect her to Jenny, that would be perfect.
It would play out so nicely. It really would.
So anyway, the next scene we have Lana waking up from a nap, which how on earth did what's his face get the bed in there? Because notice it wasn't there before and now it's there.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, did you have that down there and we just didn't see it?
Well, maybe it was just sitting up against, maybe it was leaning up against the wall. You know what I mean? It was on its side, leaning up against the wall. Oh, hey, he had that fucking trap door. Maybe he had like a Murphy bed, you know, the ones that go up into the wall.
Okay, that makes
that way he could hide it from the cops, right? If they came in.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like,
we'll just say it was a Murphy bed, everybody.
I find all these little things where I'm just like, wait, where did the bed come from? And how the hell did it get down there? And it's like, hello, do you think we're not paying attention to these things?
Right. We're picking this apart.
So we have Lana waking up from a nap and she thinks that she's, in her happy place at this moment. Because,
because he smells the food cooking.
And she's, she sees pictures of Wendy and
and oh my God, I wanted to point this out. That sick fucker. Like, we already know what he's about and what he does.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? So it's like, you see what he's doing and everything. And you see, he's a head doctor. So he knows how to get in people's heads.
Uh-huh.
He went to her house to get that picture. So he's already been in her house at least once when he got Wendy. If not, went back for more stuff, which wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Those were her fucking bed sheets. That's why she was smelling them and smelled Wendy on them. And then the first thing she did was turn to look at Wendy and looked at the picture of Wendy sitting there. Yep. He went and got her own fucking bed sheets. That sick motherfucker.
Yep.
Because he did it just for the reason that she exactly what she did, the way she did it, because he makes the point before she even notices that it's him and he's there, before she's out of La La Land. He says, oh, I love the smell of, what do you say, cooking sherry in the morning.
Well, no, it was the smell of the croque monsieur, because he's making like croque monsieur and potato or tomato soup or something like that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize where she is until she hears his voice.
Yeah.
Like sighs or something, and then she realizes.
Mm-hmm. And you see her face just go from complete bliss to,
oh my God,
just horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like her whole face just dropped.
Yeah.
Which I can imagine anybody would, you know what I mean?
I mean, this guy's a complete and total psycho and then some. Hello.
He's little Jenny's daddy. Maybe they're siblings. Ooh, let's tie Thredson and Jenny together. Yes.
I guess in a way, maybe it's a good thing Michael's not here, because he'd be like, no more kids. No more kids.
I don't think he had any kids, because he wasn't he like a virgin and everything, and that's why part of why he was an outcast and all that. I mean, they don't really say. I don't know. So maybe he did have a fling and had a illegitimate child. But what if like they were like related in some way, because he was in the orphanage?
Yeah.
So what if they found a way to tie it somehow where like
her
parents really adopted her and they were really siblings, and that the mom gave them all up for the same reason? Maybe she was a junkie and couldn't take care of them.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like that could go a lot. That could be really cool. Just show you the family fucking bloodline of psychopaths.
I know. And then we hear more of his backstory, as if he's not twisted enough as it is, because
right. And then you realize a little bit more psycho.
As he gives her the sandwich, he then gets on the bed and he's basically sitting there with his legs crossed, and I'm just like, oh God, he's definitely settling in. Here we go.
Right.
And he starts to talk about the things that he needed, and we get to see flashbacks of him in med school.
Yeah.
Because he obviously has mommy issues big time, because he was abandoned and all that stuff,
which he tells us right here and now.
flat out what he was looking for. And then
And she said, because Lana says you were in an orphanage,
uh-huh.
which I thought was a great opportunity. A missed opportunity for a later plot, because everybody wants an orphanage story.
Yeah.
And when she says that, he says group home, same thing or similar, something like that.
Like, yeah, I grew up in the system.
The system, that's what it is. The system. So it's his way of saying not an orphanage, but I was in the system.
Right.
Because otherwise he would have just said yes, an orphanage or something confirming it. And I thought that was a wasted opportunity to possibly have had a later orphanage type of season. I mean, I know all the reasons why people have talked about they may never do it because of the cost for all of the child actors that would have to be on set. But there's ways they could do it and get around it, I'm sure. And with Murphy being renewed for 13 seasons now of American Horror Story, and Murphy being who Murphy is, they could afford it for sure. At this point, maybe not earlier in his career, but at this point in American Horror Story, like longevity, definitely he could afford that now.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was kind of a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? Even because we look for Easter eggs of just wording in seasons for something that's coming up or that'll be later. So I just thought that was a missed opportunity to tie in a storyline later.
I still think that maybe they were trying to lay the foundation of maybe we can carry it.
Yeah, BRT said he didn't realize that he got the bed sheets, and Debbie's like sick. Oh, Debbie's on hers now. I just realized Debbie's on hers now. She was on a friend's for a second, so okay, only that one time.
Other computer, she's like
just long enough to switch over. You know what it is? She probably logged in. It was already logged in on somebody's account, and then she logged out and logged in on hers.
Yeah.
That's cool because that means we got 2 thumbs up.
Yay! Woohoo!
So yeah. So anyway, that was BRT. That totally was. That's why, and I didn't realize it the first time I watched it, and this is like the 4th time now or 5th time, but because this is my favorite season. But the first time I saw it, I didn't see it, but I thought about it the second time. He's a shrink, or a psychiatrist. He knows what he's doing with somebody's head and visually, and all the senses that bring back memories. Scent is actually the strongest sense tied to memory. For those of you who do not know, it really is. Yeah. And he would know that as a doctor of mental medicine. So he did that on purpose. He went and got her sheets on purpose.
You brought up something that I didn't even realize until you started saying it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like he wanted her to be comfortable. Yeah, even if he was going to kill her, he wanted her to be comfortable, to be compliant.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that until you started talking about it. I was like, oh my God, how did I not figure that out?
I know. Like I said, I didn't see it the first time. Well, I've taken a lot of psychology classes too. So that was one of my minors in my 7.5 years of college that I, didn't get a doctorate when I was there long enough to.
So we get his backstory, where you see this lady on the slab. He's in his gross anatomy class, and I guess the lady is 33, is basically the same age as Lana.
Yeah, something like that. Somewhere he said it would have been his mother's age, is what he says, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And basically he was trying to figure out what it was exactly that he was missing, because his mother abandoned him, and he was trying to get these feelings. And
here we go with the beginning of the necrophilia. No, I'm not. We don't know. Well, no, we do know later. We do know later. We don't know just yet.
Right. But at the time I was just like, oh God, are we actually
cringing? You're cringing, right? You're like, oh, don't touch it. He takes his shirt off. You're like, no, ew, don't take any more off. Don't. You're waiting. You're like, please don't take it off.
Do it. Yeah. And then, he's telling the story, but then again, he's like, even when I removed her skin, it was cold, and
she smelled of formaldehyde.
formaldehyde. And
that's what turned him off. He was turned on by it. That's why he took his shirt off and everything. I think because there's definitely an Oedipal complex he has going on here, kind of, but he he wanted just to be comfortable and be close to it. And then he was excited about it, even just the touch, because like he keeps saying, human touch, the touch of another human being. And then as soon as he smelled her, he was like suddenly turned off, and he was like he didn't want anything to do with it. He looked disgusted.
And then you go back to he's sitting on the bed with Lana, and he's talking about the rhesus monkey comparison.
Yeah.
Where, they had rhesus monkeys, and they had two different dolls made up, one with terry cloth and one with like barbed wire and stuff like that. One had milk and one didn't. And that they all chose the terry cloth one, and she just assumed it was because of the warmth, and he said no, it was because of the skin.
Yeah.
So that's where that whole thing came through. And of course you're looking at Lana's face, and she's like totally freaking out.
Well, yeah.
She's like,
he's telling her about the skin, and she's like, she starts to cry, and she's
my God.
Like, you're gonna kill me, because he tells her, that's when he tells her about how he needed real flesh.
Yeah, he needed the warmth of the real flesh,
the warmth of live flesh.
Yeah. And then she starts crying, and he's like, no, it's okay. Now that you're here, he said something else, and I'm trying to remember word for word exactly what he said, but he said, now that you're here, that part is over. I can go forward.
Yeah, my work can finally be completed or be finished, or my work is finally finished, or something like that. Yeah.
And then he proceeds to call her mommy, which
mommy. Oh, talk about another cringeworthy moment, because again, it goes to the testament of Zachary Quinto's acting, because he's an amazing actor, and he was amazing in this role.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'll tell you, that creepy motherfucker. Oh,
I missed him in American Horror Story so much, and I would love for him to come back, but he's so busy now that it's almost impossible.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of work now.
But
then again, so is Sarah Paulson, and she only took one season off so far.
Yep.
We have a natural fear of being close to dead bodies to protect the species from diseases, but he doesn't have that. That's a really interesting take on that. I like that. And I think you're right, though. I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
It's that switch, that psychopath switch that with him is just flipped off. Like he doesn't have that. The switch does not flip on that says things are wrong, which I believe is actually right here in the, not pituitary. Maybe it is pituitary. But it's right there. It's right there in the front of your brain. You're one of your lobes. Why can't I think of this? Like it's in my head, literally.
Is it in the frontal lobe? I believe it's.
Yeah, possibly. That could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe it's right there. Maybe it's your hippocampus is what it is.
Okay.
Is the one that controls like behavior and such, or like thoughts and things where like the things that psychopaths don't seem to have that normal people have.
Yeah. So then we go back, we get to see Sister Jude. She's in her office and the phone rings, and it's Saul Goodman. He calls back.
Oh, yeah, this is the Nazi hunter. Debbie, hashtag Nazi hunter.
In the last episode before that, she had called and left a message for him to stop doing what he's doing. Because
that's when Anne Frank, we found out about her husband and everything, and she got sent home. And
she's like, well, I tried to call you and tell you to stop because,
this woman's crazy. She's not really Anne Frank.
And then he proceeds to say, well, for a crazy woman, she got it right.
She got it right.
Right.
And she says he is Hans Gruppe.
Yeah. And so we find out that, all the information that she had was correct. And yeah.
Yes, BRT. Hashtag Nazi hunter.
Yep. So obviously she's, freaked out by that. And after that, we find out that Jenny is still in the asylum.
Yeah, she gets off the phone with the dude, and little Jenny just standing all creepily quiet behind her.
All creepy.
No smile, no nothing, just standing there.
I know.
Freaking weirdo.
Who are you and what are you doing here? Oh, I'm Jenny. It's like, where's your mother? She left.
Yeah, she said something to her. She said, like, oh, she said, I told your mother, as much as I'd like to, we don't have a children's ward here. Where's your mother? Or something like that.
Yeah. And she's like, she left.
She said she kissed me on the cheek. She told me to be a good girl and left.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Like, for real, you just, I get that you don't want to go to the police, but you just left your deranged, psychotic daughter here and hope she don't kill no nuns?
It's like,
You're
hello.
crazy.
Like, that kid's got some serious problems.
But I totally understand where the mom was coming from, because, I mean, not that I would ever do that to my children, by all means, but I mean, she didn't, and especially in 64, like, she didn't know what to do. And she's a small, young child. Like, she didn't want to give her to the police. That's still her child. But she also was scared of her and didn't know what to do with her. And back then, they would just lock these kids up in insane asylums and stuff. They didn't do it like they did to a degree, but they didn't do it like they do now, where, like, all these kids are on death row or sentenced to prison and stuff the way they are. Like, they would lock them up in, like, institutions and stuff. I mean, they still do, depending on the severity.
So Sister Jude is beyond herself, so she ends up calling Sister Mary Eunice.
Yeah, she starts yelling for her.
This kid off on Sister Mary Eunice, not realizing she's actually the devil.
I need some help in here.
It's like, Sister Mary Eunice, can you take care of this kid? Then we have the scene where they're in the bakery and she's cutting up the onion with the knife.
Yes, this is like my favorite scene.
One of the best scenes of the whole
episode, for sure.
Because Jenny's standing there going, they're gonna lock me up. I'm gonna be stuck in a room. And you hear this story about I'm working with this lady who drinks and wears red lingerie underneath her habit and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of stuff that gets said during this whole exchange, which is my favorite exchange. And
it is a really nice conversation, though. I mean, it's really psychotic, but it's also the devil baiting little Jenny.
Yeah. I have to give Lily Robb some serious snaps because, oh my God,
my girl is on fire in this season, isn't she? Man.
You just love to hate her. You're just like, oh God, I just love you so much, but I'm supposed to.
Even before she's possessed, when she's so meek and meager, like, you feel bad for her, but at the same time, you're like, suck it up and tell him to kiss your ass. Grow some balls,
So, basically she's standing there with a knife and she's cutting an onion because I remember Jenny basically said, can I have one of those? And she says, no, you're too young. You're going to cut yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And they're having this conversation and she's just basically going, they're going to lock me in my room. I'm not going to be allowed to do anything ever again. Yeah. And she's just like, stop whining. You have no idea how good you've got it because you know exactly what you want. They just don't realize. They don't realize these things. And she ends up with this big smile on her face. And the next thing you know, you see the knife in her hand. She's like, well, maybe you just need to show them. And then
I'm like, if that ain't ever baiting, I don't know what is, man.
And then you see like the gleam in her eye, and you're just like, wow. It's like, wow, you're a piece
you see true evil in those eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Jenny's mom in the next scene actually comes and picks her up. but you don't actually see her. That's done off screen.
Yeah.
But Mary Eunice actually says, Jenny Reynolds' mom came and picked her up.
Right.
So then we don't see her again for a while.
For a minute.
Yeah. So we think, okay, she's gone home. That's all good.
We're thinking, right. This little crazy girl done gone home. We're done with her. Like, what was the point of her story? Where some people will still argue, what is the point of her story? Because, yeah, it is a little misplaced, but at the same time, I get why it's there, and we love it. So get over it. It's already been done.
Yep. And I forgot. Do we go back to Thredson again?
After Jenny's mom picks her up.
Let's see.
That's when the whole place burns down. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Made you look.
Oh, we do have a scene with Sister Jude and Timothy Howard. I do not like him at all.
Oh, yeah. That's where it goes to real quick, where we see him in the big building and all that, and she went to meet him, right?
Uh-huh. Well, basically, she's in a room, and Timothy Howard knocks on the door or whatever, and he comes in, and he's got like this look on his face, like he's seriously troubled, because she's like, what on earth is this look on your face? Why do you look like that? And he's like, well, I think that this job is getting to you. So now he's basically trying to cover his tracks because he doesn't want anybody else doing any more research.
Right, because he's shady as hell.
Because he's shady as hell. And so he decides that he's going to transfer her to a different facility to get her out of his hair. So he ends up transferring her to a women's boarding school in Pittsburgh. So she ends up leaving the asylum because of that. And that's the scene. That's the scene with Sister Mary Eunice where she sees the red lingerie as Sister Jude is packing. It up, but then she gets distracted and has to go do something else, and ends up having to come back to get it. So yeah, there's that whole thing.
Yeah, which is funny because hold on, flip. There we go. My camera was flipping back and forth. When Mary Eunice sees the lingerie, like we know Mary Eunice has already seen it. She's already worn it, right?
No, she doesn't wear it until after.
Oh, she wears it afterwards. But didn't she say something to him about it before? I know that because remember, she's the devil now, and that devil that was in the other boy that transferred to Mary Eunice told her something about her red knickers, remember?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So technically the devil already knows about these things. Ravish me, Red Debbie.
Ravish me, Red.
I should have put mine on.
Oh, that's now I know why she leaves. She basically, Sister Jude asks her to go get the communion wine, the wine that she has especially for the Monsignor, 2 clean glasses, because she says there's still one thing I can do before I leave.
Yeah.
So that's where Sister Mary Eunice leaves the room. But first she picks up the red lingerie but puts it back in the drawer, and then she leaves the room. And because she was going to pick it up and take it while she wasn't looking, but then she got distracted.
There's Jude's Ravish Me Red lingerie. Got a little ribbon on it. Yeah, she be pimping this out, pimping it.
So she goes and gets the glasses and the communion wine, or the wine that she has for the Monsignor. And the next scene we have is Sister Jude talking to Arden, saying, "Okay, you've won. It's time for a toast." And that's where she gets the fingerprints from.
Yeah, because she's getting the fingerprint. That's right.
Yeah. So we have that whole scene where she gets the fingerprints from Arden, and then the next scene goes back to Sister Mary Eunice. Now she's in she's in Sister Jude's room, and she's dancing around to the song "You Don't Own Me," wearing
"You Don't Own Me."
wearing the lingerie and everything else. That's when she's wearing the lingerie.
Right,
And then,
right afterwards, right.
Then the phone rings, and it's Saul Goodman, and she pretends
hashtag Nazi hunter.
Yeah, and she pretends to be Sister Jude and finds out what's going on.
And how did he not recognize, like, devil or not, like, come on, she talked normal. How did he not recognize that was not Jude? He's talked to her many times.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't have a clue.
And he had to know she's not the only sister at this place, because he knew she was a nun, and he knew where she was at and where Arden was. You know, he knew the situation.
Yeah.
So he had to know there was other sisters there. So when another woman answers the phone, why wouldn't you ask for her, even if you think it's her, especially when you've already told her how delicate this work is and how dangerous this man could be.
She tried to disguise her voice, and she didn't do a very good job of it, by the way.
No, she didn't.
But for some reason, he fell for it. And she ended up going to his room, and you got to see him opening the door. And he said, did Sister Jude send you here? And she said, well, she doesn't know I'm here. And then it cuts away.
Right.
And where does it go? It goes to
down the drain.
No. So there's that whole scene with all of that. And then they start cutting back to, now we go back to present day, where the cops are in the are back in Briarcliff, and they're looking around for more clues, and they see the husband lying on the ground, because they hear the phone ringing, and the phone is actually still in his hand of the arm that was ripped off. Creepy.
Poor Leo.
Leo, I know.
Poor Adam Levine.
I know.
That's what we should have put in. That's for Asylum. Never mind.
That might actually happen. Anyway.
Oh, that's going to happen. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, God. Let's see. What are we saying here, BRT? Since the Nazi hunter had the glass stuck in his neck. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good point. But wouldn't the devil regenerate? But then again, it's a human host. So,
Yeah.
Because we saw how tore up, the possession made that other boy. So why isn't Mary Eunice tore up like that yet? Because she cooperated, but I would think because she was a religious figure, she would have fought back more so than the boy who wasn't religious.
Right. I think, but I don't know. Creepy. So then we have Sister Jude going back to Saul Goodman's room, and you hear the phone ringing in his room. The door's unlocked. She knocks and calls his name, but he doesn't answer.
Right.
And basically
she goes in.
Now, would you pick up somebody else's phone if it was ringing?
Probably not, honestly. Probably not. Now, if somebody's phone was lost and I couldn't find a number in there, would I call a number or call back the last number or something? Probably. So maybe that would have been a little more realistic.
Because she actually, because she basically said, "Oh, Mr. Goodman, I have the glass with the fingerprints, blah, blah, blah." Right? So she followed through with what she needed to do, but she doesn't realize what's going on. She hears the phone ringing. She goes in. She puts the bag down on the table and actually answers the phone, but you don't hear anything except like breathing on the other end. And then you hear Saul Goodman moving around on the floor because he's like bashing his foot to get her attention. And then she sees him on the ground bleeding to death with glass sticking out of his neck.
Bum, bum, bum. Wouldn't it have been cool, seriously, if she already brought the glass with the fingerprint and that's what he was stabbed in the neck with? Not the fingerprint though, but it was like smudged so you couldn't read it like on purpose, like he did it. But just wouldn't that have been cool?
About that too.
She would have already had to have given it to him though.
That would have been a nice touch.
Yeah. That's how most killers usually get rid of the evidence. They kill the person with it.
And I'm sorry, I know that we've been talking about the fact that, Jessica Lange is extraordinary, and she is.
Oh, you don't have to be sorry for that.
But the cry that she gives out for this whole thing, for me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yes. But it was so, please, it was so debutante, forced cry. Like put on a show for everyone, and there was nobody there.
But can you lay it on any thicker than you already have?
Right.
I considered that one to be totally fake. I was like, okay, you're laying it on a little thick, woman. And then she kneels down, and he basically says, it was a nun, and she freaks out, and then she realizes who he was talking about.
Right. It's all starting to click now.
It's now starting to click.
You have 2 enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then it goes back to present day again. And after they pick up the phone with Leo,
now we're back in 2012.
Yeah, they pick up the phone out of Leo's hand, and then they realize that this is like a honeymoon couple, right? Then one of the cops says, they were here on their honeymoon because we got a call from his sister, and he never showed up. And then the next thing you know, they ask, okay, where is his bride? And the next scene you see Teresa laying on a table, and I'm assuming that the real bloody face is standing over her right then.
Right.
And then it cuts to black.
The imposters are dead.
Yeah. And then it cuts to black.
Fade to black.
Fade to black. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff in this.
That's how it ends, folks. That's all she wrote.
Oh, and I skipped an area because we have to go back.
Wait, go back. That's not all she wrote.
We have to go back to Jenny again because we get to see her again. Remember?
Oh yeah, we didn't. We didn't talk about the whole second part of Jenny.
My bad. So anyway, she ends up going back with her mother, and we have a scene with her where she's actually stabbed her mother with the same knife that Eunice had. And she tells the exact same story, except she adds, that he slit my sister and brother's throat, told me I had to stand still. And if I moved, he would kill me. And then you hear the whole story of the same thing of he was tall, he had a beard, and he wore a brown jacket.
Little psycho crazy girl. And we don't get anything else after that. We don't get anything else. And I want to know, do the cops not think it's weird? Like the same story, the same thing happened? Because it was exactly the same. Mm-hmm. But now it's our family. Do the police not think something? And
my question is, we never got really closure on that one. So basically, what happened to her?
And they better tell us later, I swear to God. Ryan Murphy, I will come and get you. You better tell me about little Jenny. You better tell me about little crazy Jenny. Crazy bitch. Oh. Let's see, I'm missing chat here.
Oh, apparently we have a bit of a lag, but I guess it's okay now.
She said, but I think it's me again. Oh no. Unusual to answer. Yeah, it would be a lot less unusual to answer someone else's phone in the 60s for sure. You're so right, B. It really would.
Just don't. It's like,
Yeah.
don't like
B says
walk.
he has no legs, so poor Debbie.
You don't. You don't walk into someone's house and just answer their phone. It's just no, or even their room and just answer the phone.
Yeah, it's not how it works unless it's in an old campy horror movie.
Yeah.
Which is basically what AHS is. It's a love story to horror. So,
But basically, that is the end of the episode, people.
that is the end of the episode. No, basically about it. We finally wrapped it up. We remembered little Jenny.
Yeah, we did kind of jump around a little bit, but when do we ever stay on topic, right?
Then we couldn't talk about all the cool stuff we talk about.
So before we sign off, Mel, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, I want to tell everybody, get out and vote. And I'm not talking about your local political elections because we know those are all twisted up in the air and messed up anyway. We're talking about your local AHS awards. We're talking about, we have published a list of nominations for AHS awards, which we will be announcing tomorrow.
And this is all pertaining to Murder House, which is the first.
Yes. My bad. Thank you. This is the AHS Murder House nominations, and tomorrow will be the AHS Murder House awards. Tonight is the last night to get out and vote. I don't care if you have multiple accounts and you use multiple accounts to vote. Just go out there and vote. Get out there and vote. Let's see who's going to win. Let's see if your favorites end up winning tomorrow. Let's see if your least favorites end up winning tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll throw all the votes out and I'll just pick my favorites. No, I'm just joking.
No.
This is a democracy.
Yeah. But we're gonna do the results for Murder House tomorrow, and then later this week we will set up for the next round.
Yes.
For season 2.
The following week we will give out nominations for Asylum.
For what they want in categories needs to let us know.
Yes, let us know if there is someone that, or some nominations. Let us know who you guys nominate. Who are your nominees for the categories we've already posted? Who are your nominees for Asylum, for the AHS Asylum nominations? Let us know, because we will be announcing those next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so tomorrow, Wednesday, April 15th, we will be announcing the AHS Murder House Awards. So come and join us. Definitely go vote, but come and join us tomorrow. As tomorrow will be our break from Asylum. And we will be taking that break from Asylum to announce to you guys the awards for Murder House. So vote and then come and join us. Let's have some champagne. Hell, have some pizza, have a beer, have some fucking seltzer water, bubbly water if you want to.
Yep.
Just bring a drink. And something to snack on. Make it your own little award party. Like when people host for the Oscars and have the big old parties. Just have your own little party on your own couch. You ain't got to go nowhere. You ain't got to press nobody.
We're just going to sit around and have a discussion about it. Have a little bit of fun. Break up the monotony of talking about Asylum, which we love, but is very deep.
Yes. So. Especially after this episode, the last two. Because Anne Frank Part 1's not really that much. It's not that bad. But Anne Frank 2, people forget. They're like, oh, I don't want to hear the Anne Frank story. But there's a lot more thrown into that, than there is just the Anne Frank. And that's when we get the bloody face reveal. That's when Lana's kidnapped. All of that stuff happens. And then obviously the continuation this episode. And then little Jenny, little crazy bitch, little crazy psychotic bitch that we know nothing more about. But so we'll just break it up. We'll take a break and we will, do this tomorrow. Let's see. Who said good night? Debbie said good night. Good night, Debbie.
Debbie, love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
B said he already voted. Awesome. Thank you guys. You guys rock. I know Debbie's voted.
Yes, I already
voted. You guys are awesome. Tell people, share it. Share it. Yeah. Tell people to vote. And again, for those of you who don't realize, you go to our group, which is Late Night Chaos. And right underneath, and there's a link to that. There's a link in the description of this video to go to that group page. Oh my God, there's so much. But you can go to that group page, and then literally right at the top, the pinned post tells you where to vote for the nominations for Murder House Awards. They're right there under popular post topics. You just click that little gray bubble. It will take you to all of the votes.
Yep.
And just go ahead, all the polls, go ahead and vote. There's 23, maybe 24. No, 24 total, because there's 2 for number 1. Right. So 24 total. So go ahead and vote. Get your votes in.
And be sure and share the page, because we want to get this out there. And
yeah, it would be great, especially for Asylum, to have a lot more people involved. Get some more input. And if anything, by the time we get to Coven, that way, we have more people. So we definitely get some more nominees, which would be great.
And on that note, we're going to bid you guys adieu. We will be back tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And talk to you soon. Take care, guys.
Bye, guys.